I've seen a couple videos this morning from Tim Snyder, and the common theme was language. And this is something I've been talking about for a while in the context of narcissistic abuse and the way narcissists use language not to describe reality, but to create and control reality, to kind of rope you into their alternate inverted fantasy world. Fascism is political narcissism. It's collective narcissism. They behave the same way. And so I think it's important to understand that the resistance begins in the language we're using to describe reality. Right, that language has evolved within human consciousness as a map, right? You know, the famous kind of philosopher, I forget who said it, but he said, you know, language is the map, reality is the territory. And so what narcissists want to do is change the map to change the territory. And this gets deep into kind of human consciousness. The idea of what information, what language each individual human gravitates towards is based on the mind's search for safety, not the search for truth. And so we can see this, you know, in the Attorney General's tweets or whatever this morning, calling a protest at a church led by an ICE lieutenant or whatever, and calling them attacks, calling a protest an attack. Then Kristi Noem called them riots, right? And so what they're doing is they're appealing to the safety, nerve or whatever of all of these MAGA so-called Christians. They are nothing like Christ, therefore they are failed Christians at best. But what they're doing is playing to their fear centers, offering them language that they can then adopt without really digging into reality, right? Because one of the fatal flaws in Christianity, as I see it, is their persecution complex. It's a religion, a spiritual tradition rooted around the persecution of the Son of God. And therefore Christians love nothing more than being persecuted. And so to kind of bring this protest into the language of attacks and of riots is a very calculated shifting of language. They are not using language to describe reality. See, language fails when you don't have two good faith actors attempting to find a shared reality, right? Language is meant to illuminate reality. It is meant to describe reality. But when you have a person on the other side of the conversation that is using language very differently, language falls apart. I mean, I think that's one of the kind of hidden wars that's going on is this linguistic war, right? That we have had the internet and social media and smartphones introduced into human consciousness, where we're being presented with all of this imagery. And the question then becomes what language is used to describe the imagery we're seeing. And this is where politics fucks everything up. And so it's really important that we remain precise in our language, that we call out what we're seeing, what we know to be true. Right? Just because they're full of shit and using language to distort, to deceive, to control, doesn't mean we have to. Right? We have to be brave and continue using the accurate language to describe what we're seeing and push back against all of this gaslighting and confabulating.